Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking this video and tuning in. For today's look, I have for you a smoky look, a lot of darkness and a lot of, intense black colors. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do for you today. Since I'm going to use very dark eyeshadows, I don't want any fallout on my foundation that I've already layered on my face. So I'm going to start with the eyes. But first, I'm going to prep my skin and hydrate it. And I will be using my moisturizer, as always. This is the Neutrogena Deep Moisture Day Cream. And I'm going to mix with that my lovely Farsali Rose Gold Elixir. So basically, I'm just adding 4 drops into my foundation, maybe 5, mixing them together on my hand and just applying it all over my skin. I'm not usually dry. I don't consider myself having dry skin, but in this winter I do need a lot of help, especially when I apply foundations. And last but not least, I'm going to use my Kiehl's Creamy Eye Treatment. And I'm just gonna pop a little bit under my eyes. I feel that when it comes to very intense and dark makeup looks, you can probably get away with any intense and dark shadows as long as you keep your under eye clear and fresh and smooth. Otherwise, imagine you have a very, black or brown or a dark blue even eyeshadow, on your lids, and here under your eyes you have a very obvious discoloration or just tired skin. It'll just look like you've been punched in the face, like you have like a black eye or something. So I think it's really important to balance those two sides of your eyes. I mean, you want to make your top lid very dark. Make sure that this area is as flawless as can be. So I'm using this eye cream that will allow me to have more plumped and vibrant under eye areas. And yeah, now I can move forward. Let me zoom you in and we can, jump into my eyes. Last thing before we jump into the eye look, I want to use this Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer just in the center of my face. As I've said, I feel like if you're going for a smoky look, you want to make sure that the rest of your face is as flawless as possible. And I don't necessarily mean full coverage flawless. I just mean it should look as healthy and fresh as possible. So I'm just using a tiny bit amount of this primer and I'm just placing it where I think I need it, basically on my chin and on the center of my face. That's where I get the most pores. And yeah, so this would help me with my pores and make my foundation last longer. To prep my lids, I'm going to use my Clinique Beyond Perfecting Super Concealer and a flat brush like this. And I'm just going to basically prime my lids. This step is crucial. It's not important, it's crucial when using intense colors and intense shadows. It's really important not only so that the eyeshadow will stay longer and stay in place, but also since we are going to use a very intense eyeshadow that I'll show you in just a minute, we want to be able to blend it as smoothly and seamlessly as possible. And this technique, using an eye primer or a concealer, would help us achieve that. It will make our eyelids smoother and basically the shadows will be easier to blend, and it's just a good base. And to set that, I'll be using just a neutral shade, the buff color from the Lorac Pro Palette number 2. Just run it through my lids with a fluffy brush. And a nice tip is that before you start with your black or brown or whatever shadow application, touch your lids with your fingers. Make sure they're not too tacky so that the eyeshadow on top will blend nicely. Okay, it's time for some black eyeshadow. I'm gonna use the Blackest Black by Natasha Denona, and as you can see, it's not a full matte. It has some shimmery, sparkly particles in it. And to pack on this shadow on my lids, I'm gonna use the Natasha Denona brush number 12, which is pretty smallish and dense, so it will be very good for just applying the shadow and packing it on the lid. So just as first step, I'm just packing the eyeshadow as close to the lash line as possible. I'm not being very careful, not trying to create the perfect shade. We are gonna blend everything. And notice that I'm not sweeping this across my lid. I'm actually packing it because I want the best and the most color payoff out of this shadow. Same on the other eye. This doesn't have to be perfect. You can always call it a grunge look or a grunge inspired look and have it a bit messy. Like this. So if you are 20 to 25 or even 30, you might not need to do what I'm gonna do in just a minute, but me personally, I have to make sure that I get the eyeshadow directly on the crease, since my eyes have been drooping a little bit because I'm not that young. I'm just making sure that I have the eyeshadow really inside there, you know, and I'm not missing anything. Now that I've placed the eyeshadow right about where I want it to be, I'm gonna use a smaller brush by Natasha Denona. This is a number 5, and basically this will allow me to get into the, you know, inner and outer corners and really define where I want the eyeshadow to be. So I'm closing my eyes and gently trying to be more accurate. I know I said this could be like a grunge inspired tutorial, but you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I have to make it as perfect as I can, just because it's me. I'm being really hard on myself, and makeup is therapy. We get to, you know, confront our demons. Mine is, you know where to stop. And yeah, it's time for some blending. I'm gonna use the, what will I use? I want to use a fluffy brush, but not too big, because I don't want to, you know, get overboard and let the eyeshadow, the black eyeshadow, go very up high. So again, I'm gonna use the Natasha Denona number 9 brush, very fluffy but not too big, and I'm just gonna blend the outskirts of the eyeshadow very gently. I'm not gonna go too high up. Just want to create a nice fade to the black shadow. And I'm being careful with the inner portion of my eyes. I don't want to blend it too much. As I've said, I don't want this part to be black. I just want seamless transition. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, something like that. And if you feel the need to, you can always go back to the black eyeshadow and pack it some more. I usually wait till I'm finished with the rest of the makeup to see if I need any touch-ups. So far I think it's okay, it's good. I'm gonna change things up a little bit, and I'm gonna use a very nice and beautiful eyeshadow, I believe, from Il Makiage in the color Cognac. I don't want to stay just in the black realm. I want to add some vampy into it, especially since I have this new nail polish and I want to pair it with the eyeshadows. I'm gonna wipe this brush real fast on some, you know, flannel cloth or whatever, and I'm gonna pack on some of this Cognac shade. Basically, when you use this technique using the same shadow as you did before with this new and other colored shadow, you make the transition or the, I don't know, the diffusion of colors easier and it looks more coherent, I think. So I just have those two shadows on my brush and I'm ever so slightly applying it on the edges right here. So I like the way it looks right now, but I do want to intensify the red just a little bit. So I'm going to take a clean brush. This time it will be the Natasha Denona number 11 brush, and I'm dipping into the cognac and only the cognac. Tap off the excess and go over the edges just like that. Don't be afraid. I mean, if it looks like you're going to upwards, that's fine. You can always blend it out. So, full disclosure, I usually do my eyebrows before I do my eye look. I regret that I didn't do that now because it's really difficult for me to see a full picture without my eyebrows on. So I think I'm gonna stop for right now. I'm gonna do my eyebrows real fast and I will be right back. I'm officially back and my eyebrows are done. Yeah, so now I feel this way I can appreciate more how my shape turned out. If I need to, you know, get some hair off my face, and you know, if I need to do any changes or tweaks into my eye shape, eye makeup, add some shadows or blend some more. To be honest, I think it looks pretty nice. And next is just removing any fallout that I have under my eyes. And for that, I'm just gonna use those little things with some Garnier Skincare Micellar Cleansing Water. Don't worry, I'll link everything below. So just with this cotton thing, I'm just gonna gently run it under my eyes. And this is a nice trick. You can actually use it to create the wing shaped, or you know, whatever shape that you want to have in your outer crease, like that. And if you need to, you can always go back with some shadow in a more intentional way. Okay, good. I'm gonna start with my concealer. As always, I'm using the Bobbi Brown Intensive Skin Serum Corrector in the color Peach Bisque. And I'm gonna use my Vichy concealer brush. So remember I told you to keep your under eye as fresh and smooth and with no discoloration. So this is what for me works best, but you use whatever you want. I'm just gonna make sure that I push the product into my skin instead of swiping it, because I really want it to conceal and correct my under eyes. I might need an additional layer of that once I'm done with my foundation. This is so lightweight that I don't mind having several layers of that. It doesn't disrupt anything and it doesn't look cakey. For foundation, I'm using the MAC Face and Body number N2 and the Revlon Colorstay number 330. And I love this combination. It gives me the best of both worlds. A medium coverage by the Revlon one, and a very hydrating and, you know, good for photography or whatever. The Face and Body is great for that. And usually for a day look, I would use like maybe 75% the MAC Face and Body and 25% of the Revlon one. For this makeup, I do want to add just a little bit more coverage, so I'm gonna do like half and half, 50-50. So I'm just mixing it in my palette, like that, and applying it on my skin, buffing it with my Expert face brush from Real Techniques. Take the time to really buff this into the skin. I mean, this look is so intense and so pretty. Let's make the most of it. just one tip, while I was putting my foundation, I did this and I saw that I have some, this is not exactly creasing, it's just because my eyelids are more wrinkled than, you know, of 20 years old, that, you know, I need to just make sure that the eyeshadow really gets in there. So I'm just making sure to close my eyes, lift my eyebrows, and if you need to, use your fingers to stretch the eyelids even more. And with the fluffy brush that I use to blend that, I'll just make sure that I don't have any harsh lines, and I think we're good. I'm just sharing with you how I do this. I mean, sometimes I need to go back to looking at my eyes, make sure all the shadows are well placed, well blended, and well executed. And now I want to try something new. This is something that I usually do on clients, but I've never done so on myself, and you know, it's time to give it a go. I have this Graftobian Cosmetics foundation. What's the name of this? Graftobian HD Glamour Cream Super Palette in the shade Neutral. Oh my god, yeah, it's dirty. I'm so sorry, but this is it. And usually I use this color. I love this color for either contouring or bronzing, and I really want to try it on myself. I'm pretty scared, but let's try and make it work, you know? So I'm taking this Natasha Denona number 15. This is very, not fluffy, not dense, something in the middle, but it's short and it will give me good control, which is good for cream product. I'm just taking just a little bit, and I'm gonna blend it on the back of my hand to make sure that I don't have too much. And let's see how it works. I'm being very, very gentle with this. I don't want to take too much product, since this is the first time that I'm using this on myself. I like it. It's a little bit more intense than what I'm used to, but I like it. Usually I go for more natural results with my bronzer, but hey, this is not a natural look. I'm really not used to it, though I like it, but I am gonna soften this up just a little bit with my foundation brush and whatever left on it. I think it looks good, but I in serious need of some concealer. So I think I'm gonna do another layer of my Bobbi brown one, but I'm gonna mix it with my Clinique one in number 14, and yeah, let's do it. I'm placing my Bobbi brown corrector exactly how I did previously, and my Clinique one, which is a tad lighter. Just, ooh, that was too much. This concealer goes a long way. I don't need that much. Yeah, and using the same Vichy brush, I will first push the corrector into my skin, and I'm not being too worried about my lash line because I am gonna smoke it out with black eyeshadow as well. And then I'm gonna use the wider portion of the brush and just blend those two concealers together. So now I'm gonna set my under eyes using the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I need to set also the rest of my face this time because I did use liquid formula to bronze. And I'm gonna use my Mineralized Skin Finish powder in the shade Medium Plus from MAC. This is it, and using it with the Ultimate Powder Brush by Real Techniques. Now I can go and finish up my eye look. I'm gonna use a very, very teeny bitty eyeshadow brush, just like let's say this one by Morphe number M508, joining it with my top lid and run it through my lower lash line. And I'm going all around the lash line. I'm gonna tightline everything. I'm gonna tightline everything and just create this nice frame. And to smoke that out, I'm gonna use the Natasha Denona number 6, which is a bit fluffier, and I'm gonna take it with my cognac eyeshadow, tap off the excess, and just run it under where I placed the black eyeshadow. So I'm just taking my time to blend this very, very gently, connecting the inner and outer corners of the top and bottom lids till I get the result that I want. And now I'm gonna tightline the top and bottom waterline, which is for me super important for this kind of look because it's all about the dark and black, and you know, you don't want to see this nude tone in the middle. I'm gonna use my Inglot Kohl pencil number 1. That looks so much better, doesn't it? I like how it looks. I really like the smokiness. I like the color transition of all, you know, everything works out really nice. I think that I want to use a bit extra of the red just here on the outer V. Just dotting it and blending it out. Oh yeah. Carefully and gently, not put a lot of pressure on the brush. Just seeing where I need it and don't go overboard. For mascara, I'm using the Voluminous Carbon Black by L'Oreal. So I thought about it, and I do want to add just some individual lashes. These are the Lash Trios that don't have any interesting name. So this is how they look like. We have short and medium. I think the medium, I don't know, are the medium? Let's try the medium. And I'm just gonna pop them in the outer corner. Here's the lash glue. I'm just gonna pop a little bit on my palette there and use my tweezers to dip them into the glue. I'm letting the glue dry just a little bit, and let's see if that works. And now I can't stop myself, so I'm gonna do a third trio there, placing it as closely as possible to the lash line. What do you think? Too much? Too little? I kinda like it. Just helps me get this, you know, kind of look, smoky, sultry, and sexy, as if I needed it, right? I have my lashes on. I feel I could go without them, but I really like how they turned out. I think they add some illusion, some, you know, sexiness and some spiciness to the look, so I kind of like it. I hope you do too. But you can totally get away without them. You don't have to put some lashes on. This look is intense enough and sexy enough, so you just do whatever you want and makes you feel comfortable, okay? For blush, I'm gonna use this palette. It's called the 9B palette. I don't think they do that anymore, by Morphe. This is how it looks like, and I think I'm gonna use this shade right here. I do want to keep it like corally natural, but I wanted to, you know, correspond with my burgundy shade over there. I'm gonna use the, what it's called, the angled multitask brush by Real Techniques, and apply it gently on the apples of my cheeks and blend it outwards and upwards. I want to keep my lips quite neutral, not exactly nude, but not too intense. So I'm first gonna line them with the LA Girl lip liner in the shade Mauve. kind of nude, but it has something extra. I'm surprised. I usually go for shiny, not glossy, but you know, not matte formulas. But I really like it the way it is. I think it looks really nice. You know what? I'll keep this on and let you get your impressions, and then I'll go and add some more color. For highlighter, I really like this Cover FX contour kit, this one, and as you can see, I use just the highlighter portion of it. I just use it with my fingers and just tap a little bit on my, you know, higher parts of my cheek, my tip of the nose and nose bridge. I used a lot of powder in this video, so I want to bring some life back. I'm gonna use the Caudalie Beauty Elixir, this one, just spray it all over my face. And this is the final look with the first version of the lips, matte lips, mauve lips. They look really nice. I think they go really well with the eyeshadows, and I love this look. Okay, took off my LA Girl lip liner. Let me just make sure that I didn't get any of the foundation off. And now I'm using the Must Have 10 Lip Pro palette, this one that I really love. Firstly, because I love the shades in this palette, and second of all, since this, you know, it's a liquid formula, it allows me to, you know, just mix them together and get the shade that I want. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. I think I'm gonna go for, maybe I'll go for a mixture of these two. So I'm mixing these two colors together in my palette here, my cute palette that I use so much and I'm so happy that I bought. And using a lip brush, I'm gonna apply it all over my lips. So this is the finished look number 2 with different lips. I don't know what I prefer. I love both of them. I think it depends on the occasion. If I want to really, I mean, for me personally, if I would want to really impress people and go all wow, and I would probably use the first option. But if I'm going out with friends and I want to have fun, I will definitely go with this one. This more suits my personality. Though, I mean, both of them look great. I really love them. This is more cheerful, which is usually what I'm going for. So this is the finished look. I really like it. I hope you do too. I think it's super sexy and gorgeous and, you know, sultry, smoky, and suits everybody. If you're up for, you know, this kind of look, just do it, you know. Do it and be brave. Don't think about it. It looks great. I'm sure, you know, I'm sure you'd rock it. Leave me a comment down below, tell me what you think, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Mwah!